All right, everybody, and welcome to the Touch of Gaming podcast, episode number 120. As always, I'm your host, Lloyd Hannison, and joining me, Jeff Ward. You're not Jeff Ward. I didn't change your lower thirds. It says Jeff Ward in the video right now. Jared?
Yeah, that's not me.
That's hilarious. Well, not really hilarious. And it still has the bonus stage mini artwork as well. I'm just not, I'm not on the ball today.
Well, we did kind of throw this together because we really need to get reviews out.
Yeah, we're a little bit behind the eight ball as far as reviews go.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll give you a pass.
Oh, that's good. Thank you for forgiving me. And now it says Jared Schultz. There we go. So I was a quick edit in the background. Yeah, so it's been a while.
It has been a while.
We put out the great interview with the Beaver Tap guys, and just haven't had a chance to do another show since then. Which is,
I went back and listened to it. That really was a good interview.
Yeah, it was. I wasn't lying to you when I said it was a good interview.
No, I totally agree. I thought that they were great. So,
no, they're awesome guys. That was actually a lot of fun, and it was good to chat about their game. We actually did the interview prior to their Halloween game coming out, and then it posted after because of some various things. First I had the plague and was dead to the world, and I slept for like 3 days straight. And then I dislocated my shoulder last week when we were supposed to record, and I was in the emergency room for 8 hours trying to get some stuff happening with my shoulder. So it's been fun. It's been an interesting couple weeks there, Jared.
I'm not sure fun would be the first word I would associate with 8 hours in a hospital.
No, it starts with F, but it's not fun.
And we'll leave it there.
Exactly. So anyway, folks, what we're going to do here is we're going to give you episode 120. We're recording this on Monday of the 29th, and our normal shows are on Thursday. So what we want to do is we're going to do a little mini review show. Well, not mini reviews, but we're going to do a show that is just filled with reviews, because we got a lot of games sitting on our iPad, iOS devices, iPhones, new iPod touches, all that all that crazy stuff that we kind of want to get out there so that we can remove them from our devices and get on with other things. So both Jared and I are going to review 2 games tonight, so hopefully you find something to like in the games that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about Punch Quest, Wonderputt, Royal Revolt, and Pilot's Path. So should be interesting show for you guys. We'll try to do reviews quicker than we normally do, so they're not going to be 20-minute rambles just because we want to get this out and up for you guys. But hopefully you enjoy this kind of mini review show, and hopefully you stay tuned for the full episode that will be coming out on Thursday.
Yeah, it's kind of our way of saying, sorry, we haven't done anything, and we really need to get some games reviewed.
Exactly. So anything new with you, Jared, before we get into the reviews?
Yes.
Ooh. Oh,
do you see how thin that is?
You're on a diet, Jared. Look at that.
Yeah. No, so my new iPod Touch came.
Mm-hmm.
I was, as listeners may or may not know, I was rocking the 4th generation iPod Touch, and I decided it was time for an upgrade. I kept being on the fence on whether I was going to get a new iPod Touch or if I was going to get an iPad mini. And not to break all the news, but the iPad mini came out horribly overpriced for what it was, and I picked up myself a new iPod Touch. And so yeah, I have a new iPod Touch. It's extremely thin. In some ways, it's almost too thin. Like, I feel like it's like a bar of chocolate that I'm about ready to break. So
it does look like chocolatey, and it's wafer thinness. Kind of want to nibble on some chocolate now after seeing that.
Yeah, it's so thin. But it's really cool, and I now have all of my folders of games. They all fit on one page, because folders now hold more because they have an extra row in there, which is great. And but I didn't want to have everything on just one page, because that's kind of, I don't know, made me feel sad. And so I decided to actually allow myself to look at the nice icon art that developers make. Mm-hmm. And so I now have my second page is full of my absolute favorite apps with cool icons. So, then I have the second page of the absolute best games that I really like. So
Wow,
I only have two screens and it's great.
that's pretty cool. But you're enjoying it?
I am. It's nice. And at first I thought the little loop thing was really just stupid, but
I was going to ask, are you using your Wiimote-esque safety strap on your device? Oh, there you go.
yes, I actually use it more than I thought I would. And I think the reason is partially because it is so light and thin.
Hmm.
Like I somehow feel better if I'm have it around my wrist. I know
Hmm.
that sounds dumb, but it makes me feel better.
Oh, well, there you go. I mean, it's an expensive piece of equipment. You wouldn't want to drop it on the floor and smash it to bits.
Yeah, so it's actually maybe they knew that people would think, "Hey, this thing's really light. I need a better way to hold on to it." And so they made a nice little strap for us.
Yeah,
So
that's cool.
anyway, yeah, I am actually using it surprisingly.
That's very cool. Well, I'm glad you got a new device. You've been really kind of whiny for the last little while about how much you wanted a new device, and now you got one. So hopefully, it's everything you wanted.
Well, yeah, and I'm really enjoying the speed too, because there's some apps that were getting kind of slow at launching, and now it's all
Or
nice
wouldn't
and
even
fast.
run. Some of the apps wouldn't even run on your old device.
Yeah, like Lily and Horn and stuff. I'd
Yeah,
have to go take the iPad, which I can never get, and they are now both on here. So
nice.
I will be playing those. And so if I have no new games, it's my new iPod's fault because I'm playing all those ones that I really wanted to play and couldn't.
Ah, that's cool. Sometimes you gotta break out the classics that you haven't beaten yet.
That's funny. Lily and Horn are classics, even though they're 2 months old.
Exactly. It's not like the market moves fast or anything on iOS. Cool. Well, that's good that you got a new toy. Before we get into reviews, I got a new toy as well, and I'm holding it in my hand right now. It is the iCade 8-bitty. It's the little Bluetooth game controller that uses the iCade controls, and bought it on ThinkGeek. It was like $30, which was super cheap. It looks retro. It's all like it has wood paneling on the side, and it all has like the kind of rainbowy kind of graphics. And yeah, it's an iCade that I can bring with me wherever I go. I put it in my little iPad bag that I have, and yeah, it's an iCade that I have with me wherever and whenever I want. So if you guys haven't heard about it, go to thinkgeek.com and do a search for 8bitty. That's 8-bitty. I'll do probably a bit better review in the future. I just wanted to kind of chat about it a little bit because yeah, it is pretty darn awesome. I do dig it.
So I've heard that the one nice thing is that since it doesn't connect to the port, it works with everything, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean it's Bluetooth, so it works just like the iCade, which you just basically pair the device with your controller, and you're good to go. Any iCade game will work with this. Unfortunately, some of the button mappings are not great. Like Super Crate Box, for some reason, when you play the game, you have to use the select and start buttons to move or to shoot and jump. Most other games that I've played are a little bit more sensible. I guess when you download the dev kit for including iCade support in your game, it basically gave you a list of the buttons that you should be using as button 1, button 2, but I guess some developers just use whatever buttons felt more comfortable for them. So not all the games line up perfectly. Like there's another game, I think Moss Speedrun, you have to use the shoulder buttons to jump and things like that. But I mean, it's not horrible. A lot of the games, like I was playing Activision, the Activision Arcade or Activision Collection, whatever it's called. So playing old games like River Raid and stuff like that. And yeah, it's set up. Well, I mean, the Atari 2600 had one button, so it's not hard to get that working. But yeah, I've probably played about 4 hours of River Raid on my iPad, which is kind of sad since it's an old Atari 2600 game. But one of my favorite old games from my youth. So I've been playing a lot of that, and it's even better using the 8-bitty.
Very cool. I can't wait to hear more about it as you get more time with it.
Exactly. Cool. All right. Well, let's break from our jovial talk, Jared, and let's get into the reviews. Do you want to go first, or should I take point on this one?
I'll go first.
Okay. Cool. So here's Jared with his first review.
All right, so my first review today is a game called Royal Revolt. Okay, so Royal Revolt is kind of a reverse tower defense game. Basically, the story is that you are a prince. You went off to school, and while you were at school, um, your your dad died, which is sad. And when your dad died, your aunts and uncles, your aunt and uncles, so one aunt, two uncles, decided to usurp the whole throne thing, which is, kind of a bad thing. Um, so basically, what happens then is you lead your little band of people and you are attacking their towers, and eventually you get through their towers and gates, and they're sending bad guys at you in wave after wave, and you then attack their tower and their castle, and you take down their castle, and that's the main part of the game. So, kind of the cool thing about this is you start off with just a single unit. You start off with just knights, and then you get archer guys, and then you get wizards, and then you get catapults. So as you get further in the game, you're able to then use these. It has a 3-star system. The star system is completely based on time, so you are much rewarded for getting time. It has a couple of really cool systems going on here as well. Basically, however many stars you have, you get that much money times 100 every day you log in. So near the end of the game, I had 65 stars, and I would log in just to get my 6,500 coins, even if I wasn't going to play that day. So it kind of is cool because then it's based on your own skill, right? And how many stars you get. The game is freemium, so you can buy money packs, and I don't know. However, did not. Whenever I played it, I really, this is one that I would have loved a coin doubler. Do you know what I mean? Because I wanted to support the developer and maybe make it a little less grinding, but I didn't want to just go and buy a package of gold. That just didn't sound like fun and what I wanted to do. So that would probably be my first complaint, and actually maybe my only complaint, because the controls are actually really good. They're simple. You have a little, the standard D-pad that pops on screen that's pretty well tuned, and then is this one D-pad? I don't remember, but it moves around well. That's not really an issue. You then can just push the little button whenever you want to create more, and you have a little gauge that fills up, and whenever you have say 2 points in your gauge, you're able to then make an archer, and they'll attack with you, and different, like the knights are really good against other knights and just really good at grunt work, and then the ballistas are really good down at taking the other people's buildings down. It's a fun game, and then you can take that money that you earn, and with the money that you earn, you can then go ahead and buy upgrades, so you can make your knights stronger. And you also have spells. So you have, for example, one is a healing spell, and any of your own guys that are within your little aura area, they get the bonus whenever you have the spell going, to let them heal, which is a good way to do it. And then there's also ones to help take down buildings faster, and as you go on, the buildings get harder. So at first they start off with woodish buildings, and then they go to stone buildings, and then they go to metal buildings. So it's kind of cool because you go through these different stages to get through, and it works as a really nice package altogether. And I was really surprised that this game was free. It doesn't feel like it should be a free game. But I'm happy that it is, and I really think that everyone should try and pick up this game and give it a shot, because I had a lot of fun with it. Like I said, you don't really have to buy anything to enjoy it, and I found myself often going back to get the extra stars so that I could, then get more money each day when I logged in, and just earn more money so that I could have more better units. And yeah, so this game is Royal Revolt. It's free in the App Store, and I just had the developer and I lost it. It is Flare Games. And that's all one word apparently, because Flare is all one word with games for some reason. And yeah, so I don't know. It's reverse tower defense, but it's kind of like, it's not like Anomaly Warzone where you're just developing the strategy. It's more kind of like third person-ish where you're following the guy around as you attack. So yeah, sound like something you might be interested in, Lloyd?
Yeah, it sounds interesting actually.
Yeah, I was surprisingly happy with it. So it was nice. And at free, you should try it.
Cool. Awesome.
Oh, I didn't give it a rating,
I
did
was
I?
about to say, and your score is?
You know, at free, everyone should get this game. It's a 5 out of 5.
Cool. Awesome.
So it's a great game, free. Yeah, it's fun, and it's, levels usually take, some levels are quick. They take like maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and then other levels take significantly longer.
Right.
I think some of the later ones you're playing 6-7 minutes, but it never feels too long. So really good game, Royal Revolt.
Awesome. Well, thanks for that, Jared. I'm going to move on to my first review of the episode, and that is a little game that came out about a week ago called Punch Quest. You might have heard it. It's a free title, and it's doing good things on the App Store. It's free, so it's not selling a lot, but it's being downloaded a lot. And interestingly enough, it's one of the best rated iOS games according to Metacritic. So it has I believe like a 9.7, which is heads above every other iOS game, which is kind of neat. So Punch Quest is, I guess, it's a collaboration between Rocket Cat Games and Mad Garden, and you might know Rocket Cat as the people that made the hook shot games or hook champ games, where you're basically exploring and you're attaching yourself to the ceiling. We talked about hook champ games when we had the Beaver Tap developers, Mike and Mike, on for the interview last episode.
Yeah, because they had met on the leaderboards. I always think of them as the hat people, the people that want to have all the hats.
Yes, and there's hats in Punch Quest, let me tell you. So anyway, Punch Quest is pretty much exactly how it sounds. It is a quest RPG sort of game based around punching. You play a guy, and the game itself, I'm going to try to go back to the main menu because I accidentally started it, and I can't, so I'm going to let myself die. You play a guy who I don't believe has a name. I can't find his name if he does have a name. And basically, you're constantly running from the left to the right, very similar to like a jetpack joyride. So you're constantly moving in one direction. And you have basically two controls. If you touch the left-hand side of the screen, you do an uppercut. If you touch the right-hand side of the screen, you do a punch. And that's essentially the game. You're running through these levels, and enemies are in your way. And, excuse me, you punch them to kill them. And as you kill them, you rack up a hit streak. And the more hits you get in a row without dying or letting the hit streak die, the more points you get, and et cetera, as you go along. What they've done with this game is very similar to Jetpack Joyride, is there's a series of missions. So you have to do a certain number of things to continue with your game. So you might have to punch and get a 20 hit combo, or you might have to do a special move a few times, or get into an egg a couple of times, things like that. And you have a little garden gnome that is giving you all these quests. So it's, if you've played the other Rocket Cat games, it's very much similar to all that stuff. There's unlockable hats that do nothing except look cool, and gnomes are somehow deeply involved. Where this game gets really interesting is on the loot screen. So as you are going through the level, there's bags of money you can punch. You get money for high score, or you get score for punch streak. You get money for breaking things in the environment, and you use that money to buy powers. So basically, you have when you're playing the game, you have a bar at the bottom of the screen that has 3 sections, and as you're going through and killing things, the sections will fill up. And if the first section fills up, then you've activated the power 1. If you fill up the second one, power 2 gets activated. The third one a power 3 gets activated. Pretty simple. And what these special moves do is usually for the first one, it's something that's more. It just kind of happens. So it allows you to block better or take more damage or very things like that. Or when when you're in the air jumping and you punch, or when you do an uppercut rather, so you jump in the air, if you punch with the other button, you slow your fall down, so you can use that to get across gaps. So those technically or generally they don't disappear. Power 2 skill is usually some form of special weapon, like what do I have equipped right now? I have the flying turtle. I can block while in air, so that's not a special weapon. It's actually a way to block. But I've had things called the big wallop. So when I have the second section highlighted, I can I can do more damage with all my punches. And then the third section is called the super move. So these are when you get them, they're usually timed because as you use this move or as you're in this this mode, that bar dissipates. So you can do things like the key or Kai barrage or the drilling punch or knuckle circle, also things like that. And to unlock all of these special moves, you have to spend gold on them. They're not super expensive, but since you're powering up multiple quests, multiple lines, it becomes kind of difficult to upgrade everything all at once. You have to kind of focus on something. A lot of the quests that you're given in the game also relate directly to one of these special moves. So you'll want to buy a special move just to complete that quest so that you can get more quests. Because the more quests that you complete, the more you level up. And when you level up fully to, I think, level 50, you get a special hat from the gnome. You unlock the special gnome hat. So yeah, kind of silly. But anyway, the game itself is just so totally addictive. So it's similar to, as I said, Jetpack Joyride. So you're going left to right, killing enemies. But when you get to certain points of the level, there's branching paths. So there might be a hole that you can fall down, or there might be stairs that you can climb. And before the branching path, there'll be a sign. It will tell you what is where. So there might be a treasure area or a boss area or other areas. And you have to kind of decide, do I want to try to go for a high score? Do I need money? It's kind of risk versus reward. So if you go to the treasure chest section, there's going to be a lot more enemies or a lot of floor traps, so pressure plates that will spew up fire, or enemies that might be trying to stab you with spears and things like that. Where if you go through the section where you're fighting more enemies, there'll be a lot more enemies, which allows you to get your hit streak up, but they might not be so difficult. So if you're going for a score, that might be the way you want to go. There's even kind of special items that you can gain or gather in the level. So one of them is like an egg. And if you go to the egg and you punch it, you get one of two different special kind of vehicles, similar to the vehicles in Jetpack Joyride. The two are one is you ride a velociraptor that shoots lasers, which is pretty damn awesome. When you punch, it shoots lasers forward. When you jump, it shoots lasers from forward to down. Pretty awesome. And the other one is you can turn yourself into a gnome. I think it's called Gnomington or something. And you are fighting bees for some unknown strange reason. So you can jump in the air with your uppercut and you do like this spinning attack. And the other one is you just attack straight on, but you're fighting bees and beehives. I don't understand what that's all about, but that's part of the game. It's all about craziness. Some of the special items that you get, in some parts of the level, there might be like glowing orb that looks like a yin yang symbol. When you pick it up, you'll get a random special move. But it's not a special move that you're getting. You're hallucinating. Because you ate something, I guess. And then you get to do that special move. And they're usually like pretty kick-ass and they don't last very long. Essentially what it does is it moves your gauge all the way up to the third level, and you get that special move for the entirety of the third section. And then after that, it goes back to whatever else you've unlocked. You can do upgrades. So besides your 3 skills, there's upgrades that will do things like give you more branching paths that go down, have better food that you can randomly find that gives you life back, because if you get hit a certain number of times, you'll die. things like that. There's boosts, so similar to Jetpack Joyride, there's like an insta boost where you can jump to a further part of the level with kind of like a teleport. There's ways that you can give yourself more hearts and things like that, and they all take gold. So you're gonna be playing through these levels repeatedly over and over and over again to kind of grind out this gold. But I say grind in the best way possible, because nothing about this game feels like a chore. Everything about this game feels awesome. And in fact, I recommended it to a bunch of people, like I always do. If I find a really good game, I'll tweet it out, which goes to my Facebook. And usually I'll get nothing. I might get a couple comments or a couple likes or something on Facebook. But I actually had about 5 people either email me, call me, or find me at work and say how much they're addicted to this game right now. So I don't know what the secret sauce is, but this game definitely has it. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of developers that are going to be taking this game, dissecting it into its purest form, and coming out with a whole bunch of copies, similar to like the Temple Run clones that came out. Anyway, Punch Quest is free. There's in-app purchases where you can buy punches, which is I guess it's not gold, it's punches. So you get gold for punching, and they're called punches, and you spend your punches on things. I call it gold just because it's easier and people understand what gold is more than punches, except if they're getting punched, then they totally understand what a punch is. But anyway, this game is in-app purchase if you want. It's not really required. It's good. I like to throw a little bit of money at the developers for putting out a great game like this. Hopefully they'll find maybe a punch doubler item that they can put in the game, and I'll instantly buy that one. But yeah, the game, it's awesome. I can't really find anything bad about it to say. So definitely, if you own an iOS device, you need to own this game right now. There was an update that came out earlier today, actually, that added iCloud save support. So you can play the game on your iPad and iPhone at the same time, essentially. So you can play it at home on your iPad, and then while you're on your way to work on the bus, you can take over, load your save, and continue to play, keeping all of your progress in check as well. So that's a nice little addition that just came out today. And the developers are saying that they're watching closely what people are saying, and they're going to be definitely coming out with more updates in the future. So check it out, Punch Quest. It's free, 5 out of 5. Download it right now. It is a really, really, really awesome game.
Yeah, I've heard some great things about it, so it's good to hear your review, and it sounds like you're very much on the same wavelength as everyone else on this one.
Yeah, it's so good. Definitely pick it up.
Great. So we just pointed out 2 free games that get 5 out of 5s. That's got to be some sort of record or something.
I think so. There's usually not a lot of free games that are really worth the money. They're usually kind of grindy, which is not really recommended to spend a lot of time playing. But these ones are really, really good. Or at least the one I've reviewed is really good. And
Yeah.
according to your review, the one you played is really good as well.
Yeah. So my second review is Pilot's Path. So Pilot's Path came out a couple weeks ago. It has a great helicopter, and basically the idea of the game is you are a helicopter pilot, and you just kind of down on your luck, ready to work for anyone, and you kind of get in with, let's say, some unsavory characters. And you get in with some warlords and drug lords, and one specifically basically takes you in, and you then begin running quests for him. And the quests in the game are exactly kind of what you would expect. You go away, you have to find an island, you have to look for specific like cargo that is on that island. You pick up that cargo, and then you take it back to the warlord. Or you're looking for specific people, and those people will be marked on your map, and then you take them back to the warlord. And basically, it's kind of you keep doing that. You just are continuously looking for different pieces of either cargo or people, and you keep taking them back. And as you get money for this, you can then go to the store, and at the store you can upgrade your helicopter. And when the upgrading part, it feels a little bit like I Dig It, that mining game, because you can basically upgrade your speed or how long you can stay out, your gas. You can upgrade how high your helicopter can go, the altitude. you can upgrade all sorts of stuff, and you keep upgrading and running more quests. And sometimes the one thing that gets a little bit frustrating is lots of times he'll just be like, you need to find this, and you have no idea where to go for say, boxes of missiles or, weapons, and you have no idea where to go. So you end up just exploring parts of the map, and when you go explore that part of the map, you're running out of gas, and so then you have to go ahead and just pick up whatever you can find there and bring it back so that you can pay for more gas. And it's not like he says, it's to the northeast or anything like that. It's just out there somewhere, and you have to sometimes search around. So in cases like that, if you're struggling there, it becomes very important to buy the upgrades to your radar, because the radar will tell you where things of interest are. And yeah, so that's basically how the game goes. You get up and your helicopter's doing pretty well, and all of a sudden your place gets raided. And so you run away with the girl that runs the upgrade shop, and you start a new place. And you do the exact same thing again. With a slightly different background, however. You go from like islands to more deserty type stuff, but it's still the exact same thing. So it feels a little bit repetitive in that way. I would say it takes about 45 minutes per map. It's one of those that currently there are 2 maps, and it says more are coming. There haven't been more yet. They just increased the price. It was originally 99 cents, and it is now $3.99. And I just mostly say that to mention it. The other thing it will do is you can use the remote control. So if you have the game on your iPad, you can then use your iPod Touch or your iPhone as the remote control, which is a little bit cool, and it's a fun use of that technology. But most people, I don't know. I guess some people do have the ability to do that, but it's a little bit harder, right? So, yeah, and then you get done with the second one, and it's like, well, you can keep flying around, but for right now, there's nothing left to do in this game. And that's after about an hour and a half. So overall, it's fun. I felt like the graphics are kind of, I don't know, I feel like the graphics could have been better. Maybe, and this was even before I started playing on my super high def, super cool iPod Touch 5th generation. Like I even felt that way before I played on it, so that would, it must be serious. But the graphics are kind of blocky, and it has some charm. But then the other thing is sometimes you have no idea like heights, and so you'll set your helicopter down on one like little area, and there's like a little rise next to it, but you aren't. It's kind of difficult to tell if it's going up in elevation or down in elevation, and you'll land, and all of a sudden you'll die because apparently you hit your propeller, you're on the wall. Which I understand dying, but it just makes it kind of tough when you die for reasons that you feel are a little bit out of your control. So anyway, luckily you do restart pretty quickly, and you restart back at the base, and then just have to fly back there. You can also buy like extra health packs so that you can, repair your ship in flight somehow, and you can buy extra health tanks, and you can also do autopilot, so you fly directly back to base with the quickest way possible and don't ever get in accidents if you turn that on. However, they cost money in the game. Yeah, so it's $3.99. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. If it were 99 cents, I might give it a 4 out of 5 still. But overall, I think this one just needs a little bit more polish before it's ready for the big time. It's fun, but I think that there's a couple of things that they could have done to make it a little bit better. So yeah, that's Pilot's Path, currently on the App Store for $3.99. It might go on sale just because it was. And the developer on that is Happy Magenta. Again, all one word.
Cool. I've also played this game, and I found its lack of direction really, really annoying. So yeah, I agree. I have to agree with you there.
Yeah, I remember you had said that you thought it was kind of interesting, and I don't remember if you had already picked it up by the time I had talked to you about it quick or
Hmm.
what,
Yeah.
but so you're saying that you pretty much agree with my review?
Yeah, I haven't even finished the first segment. I kind of got tired of it before I finished and kind of just put it down. So
Did you
don't.
tell you to go find tourists and you had no idea where they were?
Oh no, it wasn't that they told me to go find everything. It was just that they repeatedly were telling me to go find things that I didn't know where they were, and it's just like, okay. And then I would keep crashing, and then I ran out of money from repairing my plane and buying gasoline, and it's just like, okay, I have to fly super far to get more stuff to bring back to then afford the gas, which I can't afford to fly that way to go get the stuff. It's just like, ugh, whatever. And I was kind of done.
Yep.
That
Yep.
was
I hear you
that was
there.
about it.
So, I mean, it's okay, but like I said, 3 out of 5 probably, and hopefully they'll fix it up a little bit, or it has some good ideas, but it just is not quite there.
Cool. All right, moving on. Let's get into my second review for the night. I'm going to review an interesting game called Wonderputt. Pretty obvious what it is. It's a mini golf game. Sounds like putt putt or whatever. But this game is kind of unlike any sort of mini golf game that you've ever played. So it's 99 cents. And I was trying to describe this to a friend at work, and just describe how the game went, and he wasn't kind of getting it. And I was like, okay, it's like you're golfing in an Escher painting, and all of a sudden I saw like little lights go off in his eyes. He's like, oh, okay, it all makes sense now. And that's essentially what this game is. So it's a game that won the visual arts or I guess it was a finalist for visual arts at the Developer Awards 2012 and IGF 2012. So it's kind of an artsy game. At first, and originally came out as a Flash game, I believe. It's by Damp Nat Limited. And essentially, the game has you playing 18 holes of golf in a world that is kind of like, if you've ever seen any sort of 8-bit drawings where everything's kind of like turned on like a 90 or 45 degree angle, so it's kind of like a I don't know, a 3/4 kind of view as to what it is. That's kind of what this game is. So you basically putt by the ball appears somewhere on the course, and then you see where the hole is, and you putt by grabbing the somewhere on the screen, pulling back, and letting go. So the controls are really simple. What's not really simple is the craziness that happens. So the first couple holes are pretty normal, and then there'll be a hole later on where you're going into water and your ball goes into a submarine, and then part of the hole is inside the submarine, and then as you get in through the submarine, like the ball gets launched out, and then you go to another part of the level, and then bombs are going off and it's making craters, so you have to get through all the craters that are there, and it's all based on the same little scene, but it's constantly changing. So much so that I've played it like a bunch of times, and I can't get over how awesome it is. Like there's I don't know, there's alien spaceships and rockets and elevators and waterfalls and all this like really amazing things, all done very Escher-like. So things that are impossible, like waterfalls that are falling up and down at the same time. And all that ties into one of the holes in the game. So 18 holes, so it's over fairly quick, but there's a lot of achievements for getting a lot of holes in one. Like there's an achievement which you have to get a hole in one on every single hole. I will never get that achievement, and I've already come to that I don't know. I guess I've understood my limitations and I've accepted it. I've come to that realization that it's just not going to happen. And Jared, this is big because I'm in a bit of an achievement whore, right?
Oh yeah, and perfectionist, trying to get 3 stars and everything.
Yeah, and I've stopped trying to do that in this game. It's just a fun experience. The game, as I said, is 99 cents. Worth it just to download and check it out. Even if you don't like mini golf, this is like more like a piece of interactive art, as much as it is a game. I guess it's equal part a game and interactive art, and just like really really awesome kind of pixel art, kind of 8-bitty sort of. Really, really fun. I'm really glad this game exists, just to have this game exist. And it's things like this that make me really, really love like the iOS platform. I mean, I'm sure this came into life as like a Flash project, but I would never have played it. I don't play Flash games on my browsers. It's just not something that I spend a lot of time doing. Without a platform like iOS, I would never have played something like this. And hopefully he sold, or him or her, I'm not sure who the developer, doesn't have the developer name, just the company. Hopefully they made enough money on this that they keep coming out with really sort of mind-numbingly awesome games. I don't mean numb as a bad thing. Like you play this game and it just kind of like blows your brain because of all the craziness that's happening. Like I don't know, volcanoes and spaceships and fish and all this other really weird things happening. Anyway, that's Wonderputt. It's a golf game that isn't a golf game, but is a golf game. Really awesome. Worth the 99-cent download. Check it out. And I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. The controls are a little bit, they're kind of quirky at some points where you don't really have a sense on how hard you're hitting the ball. Even though you're dragging back and letting go, similar to what I played in other golf games. For some reason, it just doesn't seem to have the, I guess, the little, like, I don't know, really pinpoint control over some of the stuff that you're doing. If they could like kind of tidy up the control a little bit, it might be a little bit better. The game is short as well. I'd love to see them add more courses into it. But for $1, I mean, you're getting a pretty good game for your buck. If they could fix the control, it would definitely get a 5 out of 5 by me. But even then, definitely check this one out. It's something that you have to see. Check it out. Wonderputt.
So can you play any hole you want? Because usually,
no.
Lots of times with those, you have to go through it straight from one end to the other.
I believe so. I haven't found, to tell you the truth, I'm not 100% positive. I don't think I've tried to just play a different hole. But no, my experience is you go in, it has this really minimalistic menu. Minimalistic. I can't talk tonight. Sorry, that's all my painkillers that I'm on right now. It's making my mouth kind of numb. So you basically, you hit play, and that's the only button, and then it kind of shows you what to do. And
so it's not like you can practice a level and get good at it. You just kind of have to do your best and be done.
Yeah, exactly. And it does, like, after you beat the game once, it does add some different things to the levels. Like when you first play the game, it doesn't really tell you much about it. When you play it a second time, there might be some little items that you can go over and things like that. So it changes that way. But yeah, there's really no way to just play a hole over and over, because it's all one hole, kind of. Like everything is kind of all integrated into one thing. But it changes. Like you'll get into a hole, and a whole bunch of cows will come out of a different part of the level and start eating grass. And then alien ships will come and abduct them, and then you have to basically play in the course that is created by there not being any grass now on this field that was once there. Like it's really weird, but it's really awesome at the same time.
It sounds good.
Sounds
interesting.
It's very, very minimal, like I said, but it does do enough between plays to kind of keep it interesting. I believe after you beat it a couple times, a new mode opens, which is it's called Fill the Rainbow mode, where you basically have to run over some little rainbow drops on the level, and then it fills a rainbow. And it does little things like that, but essentially it is the same course over and over and over and over and over again.
Interesting.
But that is a good thing in this case. It's really a lot of fun.
Okay.
All right. So I guess that's gonna about do it, man.
Yeah, it was a fun review fest.
It was actually a lot of fun. I don't see your video right now, so I can't tell if you're playing games or something in the background.
Go put it back on.
But no, you don't have to. We're not streaming right now.
Hi.
But yeah, no, this was good. Hopefully this allowed us to catch up with you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. We will be coming up with another show, which will probably be posted sometime on the weekend. And we'll do a few more reviews and talk about all the great news that has come out. There's been some really big ones that we want to talk about, but we'll wait for episode 121. All right. Well, as I said, that's going to about do it for this episode. Let us know what you think. Head on over to vgpodcast.com. Please come into our forums and chat with us. There's a lot of people that hang out there every day, and it would be nice to have some more people come in and join the conversation. It's a lot of fun there. Email us at vgpodcast@gmail.com, or you can call our voicemail line, which is area code 505 VG Podcasts. All right, Jared, thanks again for joining me.
Thank you, Lloyd.
And we'll talk to you guys next.
DS Live, your DS news.
How did that happen?
Wrong bumper.
No, my mouse was actually over top another part of my soundboard, and I clicked the mouse button on my laptop by accident. This is not the DS Life. This is the Touch of Gaming. Yeah, I'll just end it right now.